Daniel Loftus, founder and CEO of Polaire. We are an immigrant integration center, meaning we work with recent Latino immigrants to Chicago, focused on societal and ultimately workforce integration. So for us, it is about more than linguistic ability. So many of the individuals that we serve are limited English, so we address that first and foremost, but then making certain that for most of adult Latino immigrants, when they come to this country, it's about not only getting a job, but somehow establish a better life for themselves and subsequent generation, right, for their children. So we focus on customer service skills, other industry-specific job skills, making certain that they not only can fully integrate into society, but ultimately have the skills necessary to acquire, again, not just any job, but a job that provides family-sustaining wages, ultimately financial stability and economic opportunity that only this country can afford. Back in 2013, as an organization, we were at a bit of an inflection point. We had spent our first 18 years working in Pilsen being a port of entry for Latino immigrants to Chicago. But the neighborhood had changed over the last probably 5-10 years before that. And that trend had only accelerated in 2013. So we reached out to a consultant asking for a bit of advice in terms of not only where our students were ultimately going to be so that we could be more accessible to the Latino immigrant population, but also the students that we're currently serving. So an evaluation of the folks who are coming to Pilsen, as well as how the immigrant trends were working in Chicago. Reached out to the board and said, hey, do you know anybody who works in, ultimately I had no idea, never heard of the West Lawn community, and had lunch with a gentleman named Manny Jimenez, obviously current CRA VP at Marquette. We sat down to lunch. I explained the current conundrum situation being that in our business, nonprofit would not exist 10 years from that point if we didn't become more accessible to the population that we wanted to serve. And after talking about his background and Marquette's history, I mentioned the fact that there was a branch at 61st in Pulaski, that there was already a current partner, a nonprofit partner on the second floor. Subsequent conversations with REACH and Greater Southwest Development Corporation, key informant. And if you drive by 61st and Pulaski today and you look up to that second floor of that conference room, which is the first outpost sort of satellite site that we had for our business outside of Pilsen, you'll see our branding on that southwest corner today. So obviously that initial lunch, that initial connection led to an incredible relationship that I credit, if there's any corporate partner in the 27 years that we've been doing this work that deserves more credit for where we are and the impact we've had in the community, it's Marquette Bank. But yet without that initial introduction, without that door being open, you don't necessarily have those conversations. Our Polaire HQ, which we built at 55th and Holman, which honestly I don't think happens without Marquette Bank, to other investments in our program that have been incredibly instrumental in our growth and the impact we've had in the community. For me, there's no surprise that the relationship has been so fruitful in terms of Polaire and Marquette, because I see so many common goals. I see so much of a common mission, a common commitment to community. The way that I walk into Pulaski branch and the way that I'm greeted from the teller, from security, from everybody in between, it's a different way of doing business. And as a result, I feel like that partnership has led to so many different things, and I think there's no doubt that that's part of sort of the secret sauce, obviously for Marquette, and I think also for Polaire. My message to the bank is first and foremost, congratulations. I feel like 30 years that Polaire has been in operation has taken way too many hairs off my head, and the fact to have done it for AA is an impressive feat. There's so many challenges, some of which might be self-inflicted, but many more external issues incurring, including some current challenges. But for 80 years, from From Paul to George to Betty and to everybody else, congratulations. 80 years is quite a feat.